What's the matter? What's wrong?
You know, I shouldn't try to fill the void inside me from a neglectful childhood with applause or anything else.
That's all right. We enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm going to have to indulge you one more time.
Okay. Well, Lord knows we got nothing but time here tonight. You want to try another one?
Yeah, and this time, Paul, I don't want you guys to play at all. I just got to balance out my
Feeling
psyche.
a little guilty now?
Yes, it's guilt because nobody deserves that kind of adulation.
Oh.
How many people in the audience have a last name that begins with S? That's too many. T. Okay, everybody whose last name begins with T, when Dave introduces me, I want you to just go like this. I want no music, Hal, no applause sign.
Okay.
Dave,
one more time. By the way, you better be good when you get out here. Man. All right, I guess it's everybody with a last name beginning T responds in kind of an apathetic fashion, if I understand the drill. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Phil Hartman. Oh, no, wait a minute. Hey, here, hey. Wow, it kind of turned ugly there, didn't it? That's just too bad. Are you feeling better now?
The sick thing is, Dave, it still feels pretty good.
Yeah, you have a friend in the White House.
Well, yeah, that's right. I met the president.
Yeah.
In
Did you hit it off pretty well?
Yeah, we did. I met him at a fundraiser here in New York. Really a neat guy.
Yeah.
I must say, we rapped, we got high together.
No.
Snorkeling! We went snorkeling together. Easy does it, one day at a time, people.
Now, when you're talking with the president, do you talk like the president, back and forth to him?
No, I don't want to embarrass him. I mean, I just like to be his bud, you know, and we do hang together. You see, I get to see a side of him that other people don't see.
Well, sure. Well, that's good.
He's really under a lot of pressure, Dave.
Yeah, I can imagine
He'll
that.
call me in the middle of the night, and I hear this plaintive voice, you know, like, Phil, Bill, what's up? I'm bumming, man. This Somalia thing is a nightmare. Bosnia!
No. I'm sorry, I clumsily tried to ask you if, one, do you hear from George Bush at all? And two, do you do a Clinton impression?
Well, I don't do a Clinton, and I never really was honest about that. The reason I don't do Clinton is because when I went and visited George Bush last year, I was in the White House about 3 a.m., and I was kind of wandering around, looking around. I heard a psst, psst, Dana, come here. And I saw a little ember of a burning cigarette, and I couldn't make out this shadowy figure.
Yeah.
It was Dana. Just gonna be me, isn't it? Just gonna do that impression of old George, not gonna do Clinton. Well, what's that important to you? Well, I think it'd be our special thing. Remember, this meeting never took place. So that really is the real reason.
I think a long time ago you explained...
You're not listening, sorry. You knew that had to come back. Dave, I'm sorry. No, please. Singing. Sorry.
I think a long time ago you explained to us the origin of the George Bush impression. It was
Right.
a hybrid of other impressions. Am I remembering this correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you tell us
Well,
for us?
it was Mr. Rogers and John Wayne.
All right, do a little Mr. Rogers here.
This is it's like putting me through the paces, like 10 push-ups. Okay, Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. John Wayne. Well, let's go over the ridge, Put them together. You got George Herbert Walker Bush. Well,
Absolutely. Dana Carvey.
I was raised by a wild Irish Catholic man. My dad raised me and my sister alone. And he was a very good dad. He was a little...
It's a hard job, isn't it?
It is. I think it was a hard job as a man. He was left with 2 little girls, and so it was tough on him, but he was a very good parent. But he was also very compulsive about like having everything in order, because I think he had to take on the responsibilities of a mother and a father, and he used to sometimes get behind in like cleaning and stuff, and he would take. Just when he was behind in the cleaning, he would take these little pills that they had at that time called Dexamil. It was a combination of an amphetamine and a tranquilizer.
I don't know. Again, the horn section seems to. They
know about those pills. Hello. They took them off the market.
Yeah.
But
so Dad would use them to.
He would use those when he was getting behind in the cleaning, and it was like you could be very speedy, but you were also very calm. And they were great pills. They used to give them to pregnant women to keep their weight down during pregnancies, but they're a very dangerous pill. But anyhow, he would take these, and my sister and he would clean for like 48 hours straight because he would just be like speeding. And my sister would come and wake me up, and it would be like 6 a.m., and he'd still be down in the laundry room like folding clothes, and smoking, and have like a little rash. I had like cleaning windows. It's like a little like a junkie. Thank you.
Oh my.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. Thank you. Dexamil.
Is Dad all right now?
He is okay. The house is sparkling.
You of course, you do the Saturday Night Live show here in New York City, and you're from Ohio. Do you live here, or have you moved? A lot of people end up getting in showbiz, move to Los Angeles. I know you've worked out there, but you don't live there.
I don't. I spend some time here, but I have a lot of good friends out there, so I go out there sometimes, and I stay with a friend just to relax.
Yeah.
Like, usually I go there when I'm not working. Like, I just went out there like a week ago just to relax, and I went and got massaged, and
Nice.
yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. But
When Paul has the time.
Oh.
I don't know. It's nice because you can be just very, very quiet and sort of in your own little world there.
Yes, but I did go to this one place specifically because I heard that they had this a very tiny man that worked miracles. He would like get up on the table, and so I was trying.
How much did he weigh? Because we had a tiny man out here earlier. So he would actually jump on.
Yeah, he was little, but I instead got this other guy who was. I usually prefer having women because I get a little shy and stuff, but
Were you now? Forgive me if this is indelicate. Were you naked?
I was. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. No, I mean, but they put a sheet over you and stuff, so it's very proper.
Oh, well then you're
Yes.
not really undressed. You're not really so. It's,
Almost.
Almost.
Everything except for underwear.
And
Something
was
like
the
that.
guy
Well, the guy that I had was you wait in the quiet room for the masseuse to come, and everybody was so calm, and my guy was like, Molly Shannon, I know you from television. And then he put his arm out like we were supposed to link arms, like, hello, m'lady, follow me to the massage parlor. And I was like,
So he's nuts. He's just
Mr. Personality.
Yeah, he's nuts.
And then he massaged, he was telling me stories. It was horrible. I was like, just shush it and rub it and get out. Get the hell out.
Sounds like my honeymoon. You had some, I know you guys were working last Saturday, but you had some time off for the holidays and so forth.
Yeah.
Get a chance to go home?
I went home. Actually, I got hit by a car when I was home last.
No, you didn't. Now,
I was
come
in
on.
Arizona. I was driving, and there was a guy, an older man, hit me, and it was in traffic. I was
Wasn't
on about-
Richard Harris, was it?
It was a man that had some of the characteristics of the old Richard Harris. And I was going about 6, he was going about 7, and it wasn't that bad. He tatered me from behind, and then I got out, and he started to say things that you probably shouldn't say at the scene of an accident. And he goes, hell, I wasn't even looking. And I go, you might want to keep that to yourself. Then he kept going, I can't drive a stick. I'm on medication. I don't know which one's the brake. My legs are numb. I've been drinking. I have glaucoma. All righty. Okay. I'm not a lawyer, but
everybody was okay?
Yeah, I saw my family, and my mom's so funny.
Do you have a big family?
I have about average. I have a stepdad now, and my mom, I went home for Christmas, and she gained a little weight because she quit smoking, which is fine, but it happens, but it's hard to have your mom tell you she has an oral fixation. It's just like, ugh. My stepdad's in the kitchen winking at me going,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Ew,
No,
my.
but when I go back, my mom's so excited that she always goes, Davey, I promised the neighbor kids you'd ride bikes with them. So I go, I don't want to. And she goes, Davey, they're your fans. And I go, I'm busy. She goes, when they watch the show, they cry. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not
and
sure
so I
either.
go, all right. So they come over, and they're like 13-year-old guys, so they're cool.
Yeah.
So they come over, and they're Big Jane. They're like, sup? And I go, hi, and she's all amped up going. She goes, do you recognize Davey from TV? And they go, no. So we're at like a cool stalemate. I'm just like.
When you now I don't know if you stopped doing the sort of the Hollywood Minute, the little Hollywood
yeah.
update. You stopped doing
No,
that?
I haven't. It's.
Did you ever have any trouble with that?
I do run into a little trouble. Like I heard from LaToya Jackson's camp, because I said.
I stayed there one summer. It's very nice. Very nice.
For special people, and I said, out of all the Jacksons, how screwed up do you have to be known as the crazy one? And then I did one about Michael, which I heard through Webster he didn't like. It was, I ran into Webster at the Ace Awards, and
Man, you're in the fast
I
lane.
know. So I did one about Michael. I mean, I'm just a punk. I go up there and I shoot and I run in my dressing room and cry. But I need attention. So I said, Michael Jackson, just forget he's a rock star. He's just a normal guy. He's 35, but he's had 10 plastic surgeries, talks like a girl, wears his underwear on the outside, wears makeup to the store, and has monkeys in his house. Now he wants your 10-year-old to go on a vacation with him because he loves children. Do you let him? No. That's all I said. It was harmless.
I did another film this summer in Toronto, and I like Toronto. I haven't.
Toronto's a great
It's
city.
a great city.
Yeah, fantastic.
Right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, it seems like 5 Toronto people. It's funny how the Toronto people were in one area. I'm drunk. Again. So I did a film up there, and it's
Right.
kind of, there's other films going on up there.
It's a
And,
big film production town.
Yes, a big film production town, and Harrison Ford was up there doing his submarine movie. And I went to a concert. David Gray was performing, and I went to a concert. And again, Toronto, David Gray. But just one person. Harrison Ford was there, and I had to meet him.
Right.
He's my hero.
Had you worked with him? Had he been
I've
on the
never,
show?
nothing. No, he's, to me, he's still Indiana Jones and Han Solo and Luke, get out of here. I love it. It's Harrison Ford,
Yeah.
Except for the regarding Henry thing, whatever that. A dog? I don't know what that was. I saw it. But so anyway, I was like, oh my God, Harrison Ford, I gotta meet him. So I went up to him and said, hi, I'm Chris Kattan. Nice to meet you. Are you enjoying the concert? And he said, I can't hear a thing. Your generation, fix it.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, oh. I don't know what to.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you? I don't know.
Again, I'm like Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
And he was a little tipsy. Again, the drunk thing's coming up. I don't know why. But he was a little. I was like, Indiana Jones is getting a little drunk. And he's like, I gotta wake up in 3 hours and get on a submarine. The last thing I need is another drink. Don't make me do this. And he's like, I love it. I was like, oh my God, Indiana Jones. And then he started calling me little buddy.
Oh, that's
Like, hey, little buddy. I was like, now I feel like Short Round. The little kid in Indiana Jones, like, no, throw me the idol. I throw you the whip. The little Short Round guy.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
This is your second year on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be. It's like a dream come true, isn't it?
It's like something, it's so weird. It's like, you always hear those like fairy tale stories, like if I throw a coin in a fountain or cut a birthday cake, I always wanted to be on Saturday Night Live my whole life, and then like it happened, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it happened to me. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, how does it happen? I mean, I assume there's an audition or somebody sees you working somewhere.
Yeah. I got the audition. I finally got that, and I went down to New York. They flew me into New York, and
Where are you from?
I'm actually from upstate New York.
Oh, where by the rest home? Yeah, the rest home.
Yeah, the rest home up there. And I hope they're all watching tonight. They're taping it. They got to sleep.
That's right.
But they'll see.
They got everything hooked up to the clapper. That's all I know.
So They flew me out to the audition. I'm sitting there and I'm ready to go on. Lauren, it's in the actual studio, you know, where like legendary monologues have been there. Steve Martin, all these people.
This is like a studio. It's
in NBC. Yeah, 8H.
Oh yeah,
so cool.
Historic television
Thank you.
radio facility. Before that, it was a radio facility. Then television. It just goes back and back and back.
Yeah. So we were there, and I go in there, and I'm ready to go on. And they go, "Oh, Jimmy, sorry, this guy Matt has to go on before you. Hope you don't mind." And I said, "Oh, no, I don't care." She's like, "Yeah, he's got an audition." I was okay. Matt goes by. He's got a box full of wigs and a keyboard.
You're thinking you're dead.
How am I going to follow that? I don't have a wig and a keyboard.
Oh, look out.
I'm trying to think, what can I do, you know?
Musical hairpiece.
Yeah,
thing.
the guy's great. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to see some crazy bits. So anyways, I did it, and I got the show.
Yeah, and do you remember what you did at the audition that they really liked?
I did like, you know what I did? I remember I did an Adam Sandler impersonation, and he didn't expect it, I don't think, and Lauren they said, like, Lauren's not going to laugh. You know, and then he was sitting there, and I did Adam Sandler, and he started laughing. Like, I saw him, like put his head in his hands. I was like, wow. I was like, it's like a Wonder Years moment.
Yeah, what? Can you do an impression for us here, or you don't like?
Well, you want me to do it?
Well, do you mind or not?
I can do a little Sandler,
do a little Adam Sandler. Pretty good.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
What else do you do on the show? What other impressions?
I do like a bunch of impressions on the show. I did a couple weeks ago for the premiere. I did Seinfeld with Seinfeld.
Oh, wow.
It was me, and it was like a point counterpoint.
Yeah, let's see a little Seinfeld.
Yeah, all right. It's like we were talking about the Gap, and he's like, what's the deal with the Gap? I mean, I go there. What are these drawstring pants? Where are we going, to Clam Bake? What's going on? I love the Gap. You know? Pretty good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You've been the head writer of that show for how long?
About 2.5 years now.
Good for you. Have they ever had a woman head writer?
No, they haven't. I'm the first, but they haven't had that many head writers overall.
And it's going very well, isn't it?
Thanks.
Yeah. You started out, I think, as many other people did, and correct me if any of this is not accurate, working in a place in Chicago called Second City, is that right?
Yeah, I worked at the Second City in Chicago, which is a comedy improv theater there.
Right.
And a lot of people, like John Belushi and Gilda Radner, a lot of people, like Meyers, started there.
And there must be something about both experiences that has a commonality that makes it work either way.
Yes, it's a sketch comedy theater, so it's very similar to what we do at SNL.
Right.
So the main difference is that at Second City, they serve booze to the audience. So, you know, at SNL, we never have a bachelorette party going on in the audience at SNL. We had one lady one time in the middle of the show, like a Friday night show, just stand up and, I have had it. She was just loaded, and she's like, this is stupid. And she's walked onto the stage during a sketch. She's like, I don't want to see this anymore. And so I tried to escort her sort of backstage. I'm like, oh, we'll just, you know. And she got off into the wing, and there's a little set of stairs back there, and she fell down the stairs.
Oh, my God.
And she was fine, but it made a lot of noise, and it looked like I bounced her.
That's awful.
Yeah.
The video that we saw excerpted right there was early on in the season of Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah, I think it was this past episode.
Yeah. But it was a huge success, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It basically, me and two of my friends, like, we sort of started off together. Kiva and Yorma, we're all like friends from Berkeley, California. We grew up together, and we all got hired on the show together. And we had been shooting things kind of similar to that on our own, like before we ever got hired, and we just decided to try and do one on the show. And Chris Parnell had done raps as well on like Weekend Update and stuff. And before we ever were anywhere near it, we were fans of that. So we kind of collabed and went and shot it on our own.
And how did you know that this had been so immediately successful after the show?
Well, actually at the after party, someone came up to me and was like, the blogs are already talking about it, that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, cool, awesome. Like nothing had really been said till that. But then the next Sunday when we woke up at like 5 or 6 in the evening, it's a late night. My friend Akiva Googled it just to see, like, hey, I wonder how that was received. And it was like, people had been posting it all over the place, and it had already been watched like over 500,000 times.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was insane. And then like a day or two later, it had been watched like over 1 million times, and people were making T-shirts, and like it just kind of went crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
You referenced, I think, some or all of the people in this picture, yourself included. Who are the folks we're looking at?
All right, these are that's me on this side here. Then we got Yorma in the middle and Akiva on the other side.
What is the context of this photo? What has gone wrong here?
This was. We were living in LA together, chasing the dream, and we decided to go to Sears and have some family portraits taken. And the mission statement on our way in was, let's look as awful as we possibly can. And I think it worked out pretty good.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And your path to the show was unusual, but I would guess that more and more people will now be doing what you did to get that job. Tell people how that worked.
Well, we were living in LA for a while, and we basically decided early on to just try and shoot stuff on our own as much as possible.
You had your own website?
Yeah, we put up our own website and tried to circulate it as much as possible. And from that, we kind of got signed and got more attention, and we made some pilots. But yeah, a lot of it has gone through the internet, and that's kind of, people are saying at least that more people are going to try it that way now.
Now, I think the last time Kiefer Sutherland was on this program, he told a story about driving around in Los Angeles, West Hollywood somewhere, and stopping his car and jumping out and interrupting a mugging.
Yeah.
Now, it turned out that the mugging was actually a little film project.
Yes.
And you were one of the principals in the film project.
Yeah. Yeah, it was us.
What was it like from your perspective?
Okay, well, imagine, if you will, 3 young dudes shooting something on Olympic Boulevard in Los Angeles. And the concept of what we were shooting was, it was the 3 of us, and we were addicted to tooth whitener. And so this was the scene where we'd like hit bottom and we were mugging an old lady to get her purse so we could buy more tooth whitener. So we had our friend Jessica put on like an old lady wig, and we went out on Olympic, and our friend was standing across the street with the camera, shooting. So we run up on her and we start, doing the fake mugging, and then all of a sudden we hear, "What the hell are you doing?" So we all turned and we're like, no, it's okay, it's okay. Oh! It's Kiefer Sutherland! He like jumped out and like had his whole altercation, and we were like, "No, it's a film. You're such a good person. No one else would have stopped." Like, it was a huge traffic street. No one else stopped, but Kiefer Sutherland was
and we have some of this on video. Is that correct?
We have our footage.
Okay.
It's pretty extensive.
This is the setup here.
Okay, so there's Yorma mugging the old lady. Bam!
Wow.
There he is.
Let's talk about the news of the day. It's in all of the papers that you're wrapping up a fine career, a great run, 7 years at Saturday Night Live. Tell us all about that, the decision and what you're going to do and stuff.
All I know is I'm leaving. I hadn't thought of what I was going to do.
Really? You just quit? And
Yeah.
oh, man.
Do you have ideas?
Well, you can help out around here.
Maybe I'll help out.
we could use it. It would be great for us.
I'm going to, I hope to work a little more in film.
That'd be good. People like the movies you're in?
People seem to enjoy some of the movies. Yeah, fair amount.
Do you remember how you got the audition
also,
when you first started Saturday Night Live, how you got that job? Because that's a big moment in anybody's career.
Yeah, that was, I came from a theater out in L.A. called the Groundlings, which is an improv, and that's essentially where I was, I know, and that's essentially where I was discovered, if you will, but I was, at the time I was working at an art auction house as the appraisal coordinator.
Well, you don't know anything about that, do you?
No, I don't know anything about it. And it was essentially a glorified typist. The appraisers go out and appraise artwork and then hand it to you, and then you type it up. But I'm not a very fast typist. Besides, I had found that when I left for hours upon hours to go do auditions, no one noticed. So I had a huge pile of work that would stack up. But I made a promise just to be very forthright when I was confronted about my job ability. And the president would literally come up and say, what happened to this estate appraisal? This was due a month ago. And I would just say, I know, it's horrible. And I was just brutally honest with him.
You just agree with him?
I just agree, and he would say, "Do you have any idea when we can expect it? I go, I have no idea, John.
It's not really your problem.
I agree, know what you're thinking. It's not right. And then it would just kind of stun him, and they wouldn't fire me. So maybe that's a good job strategy for some other people out there.
It worked out well. How was your holiday? You have a nice holiday season?
It was good, thank you. We don't do anything glamorous, my husband and I, for the holidays. We go.
How long have you been married?
A little over a year.
Oh, congratulations. Good for you. That's nice. What does your husband do?
Well, this actually is interesting because my husband just started working with me at SNL.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think that's going to be good?
I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because it was a little weird at first. Like the first week he was there, he doesn't really have his own office. Mm-hmm. So I came in my dressing room one day, and the whole place just reeked of taco meat. And I looked, and his coat was hanging up, and there was an empty plate of taco meat in the trash. I said, no, we got to have a little talk about this.
Yeah. But before you knew him, you understood that he was fond of taco meat, or you didn't?
We're all fond of taco meat.
How can you not be?
But there's a time and a place.
Yes, I think that's right. Absolutely. So anyway, your holiday was good?
Yeah, it's fine. We do the sort of the Rust Belt holiday. We go to Pennsylvania and Ohio, which is where our families are. And it was just a baby parade. Just everybody's got babies now, and they want to show you what the baby likes to eat, and this is how much the baby weighs now, and here's a picture of the baby, and you think, well, I'm looking at the baby. I don't need to.
Right. That's
okay. No one's really pressuring us yet to have our own baby, except my husband's grandmom is 87. She's from West Virginia.
His grandmother.
His grandmother.
Wow.
And her name is Perline.
Perline?
Yeah. And she's from West Virginia, and she keeps saying, I can't leave this world till I see some of your youngins. And she says youngins.
Yeah, youngins.
And she's 87 years old, and she just got new hearing aids in both ears, and she just got her cataracts removed in both eyes, and she's really fit. And I keep telling her we're going to fix her up a little bit more, and then we're going to sell her.
Put her on the market. Get her on eBay. Now, we mentioned Saturday Night Live starting up its season. This will be your 6th season.
Yes,
and Phil Hartman, your friend and cast member, is not going to be part of it this year.
Yeah, that's a drag. Phil Hartman is, in my opinion,
he's great.
One of the greatest character comedians to ever walk this earth. He's definitely, he is my hero. He was my teacher, and it's a shame he's not going to be there. Most of all, I'm going to miss walking past his office, because he always had a different hobby. So he'd be in there, and it'd be late at night, and he'd have like this, he always made his office really nice, right? And he had like this light, and he'd have like a visor on late at night. And then you'd go by, and he'd be like, Mike, come on in, smoking a pipe. You into fly fishing? And then the next time you walk by, it'll be a different hobby. You'd be like putting a ship into a bottle. You know, this hobby goes back as far as the Phoenicians. You know, come on, what's going on? And it was always very, very like uncle-y like that.
A man of varied interests.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. And then the last week he was there, he had like a schematic for Chartres, the cathedral, and he's going, you know, transitional Romanesque architecture has been off the line.
A cigarette can be used in many ways, but for one thing, you just look cool.
Yeah, that's...
Hello.
That is undeniable.
Something for you kids to remember, you know. You look sophisticated, you look older.
Uh-huh.
If you actually want to be older, don't smoke.
No, of course, no, that wouldn't
But
work.
if you want to look cool,
Yes.
It's also, you can be emphatic with it. For example, Hartman, you're fired. End of story. Or, you can't fire me. I quit.
Yeah. I hope you have another good.
I'm not through yet, Dave. Now, as you know, smoking's very romantic.
Oh, sure.
You know, when the wife comes downstairs in a stunning new outfit, nothing shows your appreciation better than this move. Wow! And,
man,
if you're out to dinner,
you look cool, you are cool.
You're out to dinner, you want to show her that you're hard-boiled, like a private eye, like a
Tough
really
guy.
tough guy.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for long legs. I'd like to shinny up one of yours like a native boy looking for coconuts.
Tough guy right there.
Let's look at the instant replay on that one.
You're new this year. This is your first season on Saturday Night Live. And I understand, I have some vague recollection, some kind of problem early on in the show. Like you were on, the show's live, of course.
Right.
And you said, a slip of the tongue, you said a word, what was that?
I said, I can't say it.
Well, you can say it here because we're not live.
Oh, I said.
Yeah, you said. Paul, please try to get a hold of yourself.
I'm sorry. Well, I said on Saturday Night Live.
Dave, it's your turn.
What were the circumstances? I mean, obviously it wasn't supposed to be in the script.
No, I was doing this character that's Rita Del Vecchio that's loosely based on my grandmother, and
Does your grandmother use language like that?
Dave, she's got a mouth like a dock worker.
Really?
She's one of those Italian grandmothers that lives to cook for people, heart of gold. I mean, she's just such a beautiful person, but she's got a horrible mouth. My brother and I, we would go over her house, and because there's always free food, 24 hours a day.
Always cooking.
Always cooking. Go over and just say, Gran, we're hungry. There'd always be a priest sitting there from the church talking with her. She'd look at her, now, Father, do you believe these mother-humping bastards? Okay? Where were they at lunch? Yeah, they were shooting their hashish. That's where they were. That's what, sit down. And the priest wouldn't say anything because he's waiting to get fed.
So was there a great deal of, when you said this on the show, how did you feel? Just horrible?
I didn't realize it until there was a delayed laughter from the audience, you know? So, and then I walked off and I didn't know what the ramifications would have been.
Thought you'd be fired or fined, penalized, suspended?
Thanks, Flip. I saw Lauren as I was walking.
Lauren Michaels, the producer of the show.
And I was, I was walking in back and he was just standing there. I just said, sorry, and kept going.
Yeah.
So,
and what did he say?
Nothing. I just kept going. But it was okay. There was a picture in the paper the next day. It was my face, and I had oops.
Yeah. But it's the kind of thing, I mean, it was a good-natured. It certainly wasn't intentional.
And it was so in the character that's why I think there was a delayed laughter. It almost, they understand that.
And I would guess that people, knowing what I do of this country, would have probably found that endearing, that you could make an honest mistake like that.
I hope so.
Don't you think so? Sure. Yeah. Impressions is pretty much what you like to do. Is that the most fun for you?
Yeah, it's a mix.
Yeah.
It's a mixture, and I love it.
And what would be your, give us your three, if you don't mind, your three strong impressions. What are you really excited about?
Oh, man, Eddie Murphy, for one. Denzel Washington, which has gotten great reviews everywhere. Well, thank you. Y'all know about it, too.
So can we hear a little Eddie Murphy?
Well, if you want to hear Eddie Murphy, you know it's not really hard for me to do it. You know the craziest thing is I look like Eddie Murphy. Oh, yes.
And what was your auditioning process like for a Saturday Night Live? You had to come in from, where's your hometown?
Oh, hometown's Virginia.
Yeah, so you would come into New York for the audition, right?
Yes, sir.
And how did that go?
Oh, man. Well, actually, there was an audition tape floating around for like a year. And then I finally got a test. They finally said, oh, we want to test you.
Come on in, sure.
Yeah, because I made another audition tape doing something totally different with the same characters and everything.
Right.
And I got in and, you know, I tested and it was 5 minutes and people were laughing at stuff I didn't expect them to laugh at.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if y'all laughing, fine, okay. And then, you know, they flew me up the next week and they flew me up again and then they flew me up again.
Wow. So you must have been thinking, well, what's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, who else can I meet? I done met everyone in New York City. I mean.
Then how did you finally learn that you had the gig?
Oh, man, Lorne, actually.
This is Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels, the big honcho. He had actually called my phone on Thursday, and I missed the call.
Ooh.
I never got it.
Wow.
I know, right? Who am I? Yeah, I'm just so busy to miss Lorne Michaels' calls. But Friday, his assistant had called me and said, Lauren was trying to get in contact with you. Now I'm thinking Lauren. I'm like, Lauren? He was like, no, Lorne Michaels. I was like, oh, okay. So she told me to stay by my phone. You know, stay by your phone for like 5 hours. I was like, cool, all right, I'll stay by my phone for 5 hours. And I couldn't take it by the third hour. I was like, I'm serious, I can't take it. So I called up, and then she said, here's Lorne. And Lorne was like, well, the world thinks you're very talented, Jay. It's time for the world to see your talent.
There you go.
That's how Lorne talks.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know.
Let's hear a little now. You said Denzel Washington is also very strong.
Yes,
Let's hear a
sir.
little of that before we go to commercial.
Okay, all right. So, it's David Letterman, huh? So you're good, right? Huh? So I'm sitting here talking to Dave, because Dave is David.
Who else do you have, Jay, that you would like to do for us here this evening?
You know what? I want to do Will Smith.
Will Smith is tremendous.
For you?
Tremendous energy.
Tremendous
Yeah.
energy. You know, because, you know, Will Smith is like, you know, he comes out and he starts talking like this with his hands and, woo! It's just like totally insane and crazy. My thighs, Dave, I can't believe it. It's sexy. Check it out. Oh, man.
Says here President Obama. Anything there?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll do it.
You don't have to.
No, Dave, for you, you're a special person.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, Dave, it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. A lot of people are out there talking about me. But if you don't get off my back, I'm going to start handing out ass whippings like sweet potato pies at Thanksgiving.
Now, there's another part of this that I'm very excited, and the reason that I'm nervous, and I guess people know this, maybe they don't know this, but you're one of the daughters of a good friend of ours and a guy who was on this show a long time, Chris Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and I know a lot of people are thinking, that guy was able to reproduce?
He met my mother here, actually, who
Paula?
was working
That's
as a booking person, a talent booker. And they met, and it was actually the night of the Emmys, where you guys were nominated in LA, that I was conceived at a Sheraton in Marina Del Rey. Yeah.
That's a beautiful story, Abby.
Yeah. Had that Emmy not been won,
Exactly.
we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Now, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to embarrass your family, but my God, how did you put up with him as a father?
Well, he was really fun. He was super goofy. He would, he was a strict father, as fathers are, and he'd scold me, but then he'd walk away and let his pants fall down. And
that's excellent parenting.
Yeah, no, it is. It's not hard to take seriously.
And of course your grandfather, Bob Elliott. So this is just tremendous. And I feel so lucky to know the family and to have worked with everybody and everybody who knew Bob and Ray. I mean, they were the real deal. They were the gold standard.
Yeah, they're
and of course, your father, I've often long felt is the funniest man working, and now you. So this is a great story. Now, does your father, was he ever like a stage father? Was he pushy? Did he anything like that?
My dad pushed me so much growing up. He pushed me so hard to get in there and get into the spotlight. But luckily,
there
luckily
he is.
now
He's in the green room.
Isn't she wonderful? Sit up straight. Sit up straight.
Do you know
Stop
where
it.
the nearest Sheraton hotel might
Look,
be?
I don't know who you are, but can you shut up?
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So that was what it was
that's what it was like. Yeah. Did you ever, and maybe I'm just older than you, but Don Rickles, did you ever see Don Rickles working in Las Vegas?
I never have seen him work there, but I just met him for the first time like 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles.
And?
Probably the most excited I've ever been to meet anyone.
Really?
And it's very exciting to me. He's like a hero of mine, but he's a very interesting person to meet because when you meet him, you kind of want him to insult you.
That's exactly right. That's what you're looking for.
So he was sitting alone, and he was drinking a coffee, and I was really nervous, and I knelt down next to him. I said, Mr. Rickles, my name is Seth Meyers. I'm a huge fan. And he just looked at me, rolled his eyes. You know what, you're going to have to give me a second. I'm rarely this excited to meet someone. And then he said, you're still on Saturday Night Live? And I said, I am. And he goes, I'm sorry to hear it got canceled. And I said, oh, it didn't get canceled. He goes, a guy can dream, and then rolls his eyes again. And I was like, you know, like those old footage of like women screaming at Elvis? Like that's how I was the whole time. I was like, ah!
Yep.
But it was great, and then he was the sweetest guy.
He's tremendous. He's tremendous now, and he's always been tremendous. But he really takes one back to the heart and soul of Las Vegas when it was a whole different operation.
You have to be so good at what you do to be doing it as long as he has.
Absolutely,
and it's just amazing.
And along those lines, recently you got to work with some great heroes, great stars from the previous Saturday Night Live eras.
The last show, the Justin Timberlake show, we had a lot of the incredible. The best. And we did this Five Timers Club sketch, and we brought back all the five-time hosts. It was really like Hall of Fame. You had Baldwin, Hanks, Aykroyd, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Paul Simon, Candy Bergen. It was really exciting.
Now, what is that like? Because the dynamic is completely out of whack when it's like you, but you've been there like 10, 12 years anyway, but you got all these Hall of Fame guys.
Well, it's great because like we're all in awe of them, but they're still like competitive with one another, which was really fun to watch. And like Marty Short was talking about, he was explaining how one of his jokes was going to get such a long laugh that Steve shouldn't talk right away. And Steve's like, so when do you want me to say my line? And Marty's like, I'll say my line. Hold, 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 hold. And Steve was like, and then can I say my line? He's like, you can, but no one's going to hear it. So it was just a delight.
We were talking to Alec Baldwin, who's been on Saturday Night Live many, many times. And of course, you know him from Saturday Night Live. How long were you on that show?
On and off with having my first baby, almost eight years.
Wow, 8 years. Good gig, huh?
It was the best.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
And when you started, that was like a huge thing to be Saturday Night Live, for God's sake.
It was really, truly, since I was a little girl, my dream. Like, the only dream I had, and I didn't have a backup plan, which was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But it worked out, which was really lucky.
Yeah.
And you know, it was.
And how does that work? You worked in a improv group in California. It was the Groundlings.
The Groundlings, yes.
And how do you get contacted by Saturday Night Live? What do they do?
You hear that there's some guys, you know, in the back row from SNL.
I hear that every night here. And they're never from SNL. They're just guys in the back row. And you go and audition? Is that what happens?
I was meant to, and I was really misguided under bad direction at the time. Someone informed me, like, "Oh no, it's not. No, you shouldn't do it." And I didn't go to my audition.
Really? They said come and audition, and you said I don't think so.
Yeah.
What? I mean,
I must have been an idiot. It was like the dumbest thing I listened to. But I got so lucky because they came back and said, why don't you come out and do 3 shows? And I did the last 3 shows of the 25th season. I got real lucky.
So it worked out great. But I'm trying to understand the logic of saying, no, I'm happy working in this guy's den in his basement.
It was dumb. I was young and it was dumb, and I believed everything I was told. But it was fate, I guess. I don't know. It worked out.
Everything's good then. Welcome to the program, and we talked about Paul having been with Saturday Night Live years and years ago. What year was it, Paul? 72?
75 through 80, yeah.
And how long have you been with the show?
This is my 4th season.
4th season. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It takes about 4 seasons for people to notice that you're on.
Right. You mean people in the other cast members?
Oh, yeah, other cast members. People are finally remembering my name.
But as you're walking around now, they recognize you and they associate you with. Is that how it works?
Well, sometimes they get confused as to what they know me from, so they just throw out TV shows and hope one of them sticks. And they'll just be like, The Swan. America's Most Wanted.
The Swan.
How do I know you?
The Swan. Excellent choice. You're not from here, I'm guessing, right?
No, I'm from Burlington, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston.
And what brought you to New York City?
Well, I moved here about, 10 years ago, and I used to perform in Chicago. Yeah. Yay. And I wanted to act and perform here, and I had some pretty rough times when I first got here.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. How rough were they?
Well, they were so rough now. That one time I was walking my dog, and he was doing his business.
What does that mean?
I may say. He was taking a crap on the street.
I see. Okay, yeah.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, now I understand.
I wanted to make it smooth, but
Thank you.
I'll just speak plainly. Excuse me, Dave.
That's fine.
And one time, it was early on when I first moved to New York. I was really broke and really depressed. And my dog was taking a crap on the street. And a car drove by. It was filled with a bunch of young guys with French accents.
Oh, French accents. Punks. French punks.
French punks.
Yeah.
The city is littered with them.
Yeah.
And they started making fun of me and my dog and the fact that I had to stand there and watch it. So I did what any person would do. I scooped up the dog crap and I threw it in their car and ran away.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Made me feel better.
I think maybe we chatted a little bit about this when you were here the last time. When you began show business or stand-up comedy, what kind of things did you do in your act? What was that like?
Well, I did like a bunch of. I had a troll doll.
Troll doll?
Yeah, it's like these dolls with the hair, the fuzzy hair, and I would do like a commercial for the doll. So I would do like impressions. I said like, welcome to the auditions for the commercials. Let's start. First up, Mr. John Travolta.
Oh.
Go like, she's like, swear to God, I can't believe, look at his hair, right? I mean, like, you guys should probably use some like anti-frizz shampoo or something, right? I swear to God, it's crazy. Or I do like, I was 16, so I do like Cliff Clavin from Cheers, the mailman from Cheers.
Wow, rarefied.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Hey there, Yami. I'm going to tell you something here, Pilly. The actual Mitzi Trolls first made in the late 1300s. Or I do Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
What is this? What kind of kid plays with something like this? They're so weird looking. I don't want to hang out with the kid that plays with something like this.
Very strong. Now you're doing the weekend update. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, that's cool. It's like I never thought I'd do the news part of the show. I don't really read papers and stuff, you know. I told that to Lauren. I don't really know anything about the news, but now I'm starting to learn everything. But I love the show ever since I was a kid. Like me and my sister used to imitate, the Wild and Crazy Guys and stuff, and we never knew what it meant or any of the. We would say like, we got to get to Statue of Liberty to get our birth control devices. We're 5 years old, so we have no idea. My mother and dad were like, oh, that's okay, and the grandparents were like, huh?
Yeah.
Should we call somebody?
And how did you get on the show?
It was just madness. It was like I just kept working on my impressions and stuff like that, and I figured. I actually used to do Dana Carvey's impressions, hoping that Lauren would call some kid in Saugerties, New York. Jimmy, can you do church lady? Something like that. But that never happened.
So you did his entire set of impressions.
Everything he did, I did.
Like what? Do something for us from Dana Carvey's act. He'll enjoy this.
Yeah. Actually, I could probably do a little Dana Carvey. I mean, it was like not gonna do it.
And you have a little something you do with a rubber band or something? I'm told you got a thing for us?
We can't do that, Dave, because that's a race. That's
a
where
race?
you and I both do it. And
Well,
I
I don't even
understand
know
you have a
what it
bad
is.
neck, and I do too, so why are we doing it?
Well, I don't know. Do you want? You can't try it then at all? Well,
Well,
what is?
would you like me to show you what? I'll
Just
describe it. You
it.
put a rubber band around the back of your neck
Right.
and up here. And you have to move it from here down below your chin.
Just like this?
Yeah, there has to be circus music. You have to do it with your tongue and your
Right.
cheeks and whatever
Oh,
you can
no
do.
hands?
Do you have a rubber band? By chance, I do.
Wait a minute. No.
All I got is duct tape. All right. Duct tape it is. Friends of the Earth.
Here you go. Try one of those. Green.
All right.
Is that
All right,
your
this is the
color?
way it works.
All right.
On your mark.
Now, wait a minute. Should I try this?
Okay. Yeah, right like this. No, no, that's not. No, down here.
I know. It's more comfortable up here.
Okay.
I like the look. It's kind of a Tonto thing.
There. On your mark. And you want to get it below your
I
chin.
don't even know what you're talking about. On
You're
your
going
mark.
to just work that down. On your mark, set, go.
All right. It's over. It's over. I think I know the answer to the question, but did you ever get any serious trouble?
No, well, I didn't really get in trouble for this, but probably the most serious thing I ever did was roll our car on a family trip across America.
No.
Yeah.
You mean like Steve McQueen kind of
like
thing?
Steve McQueen, Dukes of Hazzard. You actually heard the yeah. And
this is a family trip.
This is a family trip. The summer before my senior year in high school, 18, brand new Chevy Citation. Beautiful car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A slick ride. That
Slick,
Citation.
beautiful. Yeah. Maybe I think I rolled it subconsciously because it was a Citation. Yeah, we're coming down from the Grand Canyon. We weren't near the Grand Canyon, but driving to Flagstaff, and I have a problem falling asleep when I drive.
Oh, yeah.
I remember just on like easy listening, like jazz, like, and my mom was like, "Are you okay to drive?" "I'm fine," and it was just like da 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 ba 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 ba, like sunlight over the windshield, la la la, and just remember just kind of closing my eyes, and the next thing I remember is hearing do-do, 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 and it was the road markers on the side of the shoulder. Do-do, do-do. And of course, I wasn't used to power steering, so I woke up and it was like, oh my God! And the counter steered this way, that way, driving sideways for a while. Then we like turned, like washing machine finally stopped. Everyone was okay, and then of course, how do I handle the situation? I get out of the car and start running out into the desert. So I ran like 100 feet, and my mom, yeah.
Now this is with your entire family in the
me,
car?
my mom, my brother, yeah. So, yeah.
Everyone all right?
Everyone was fine. I sprained my neck, and we pushed on, man. We pushed on.
Get the car back on all fours?
We pushed on.
And congratulations, you're nominated for an Emmy for a video that you did on Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
This is the Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
What is the? This is where everybody's dancing around with their deal in a box, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their deal.
What was the genesis of this?
Basically we were slacking off, and Lauren told us.
Lauren Michaels, the producer at SNL.
Of SNL, yeah. He's like, you have to do a digital short this week.
Right.
So we wanted to do a song with Justin because he's obviously very good at singing, and we knew we wanted to do something early '90s R&B.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what.
Right.
And we were tossing around ideas, and finally my friend Yorma was like, well, what about that thing where you like give someone a gift, but you cut a hole in it, and then you put your stuff in, and then and we were like, all right, the old diner bit.
Yeah.
So we sort of wrote up some lyrics and brought it down to Justin, and we were like, so what do you think of this? And before we were even done telling him, he was like, yes! Oh, we have to do that. So the only thing left was to tell Lauren, and we ran it by Lauren, and he was like, well, just remember, it's the Christmas episode, and there's gonna be millions of people watching, and many of them will be children, so just use your best discretion.
Kind of fits right in with the Christmas theme of giving, though, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
That's,
there's like a strange tradition with it now. Like, I think people actually started doing it. A guy came up to me on the street and was like,
that's awful.
yeah, he was like, I gave my girlfriend my junk in a box for Christmas. And I was like, oh, gross.
And speaking of politics, and a great deal of discussion about the candidates and so forth in Saturday Night Live, and it poses a challenging puzzle for you as the head writer and also the Weekend Update guy.
It was great. We've had a lot of politicians in recent weeks. We had Senator Clinton on, which was really exciting. I actually had to go down to her dressing room and pitch a few jokes to her, and it's really a tough room because it's her and a bunch of Secret Service agents.
Ooh.
And
oh yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's the toughest crowd you can have. Although I guess the worst thing you could say about your Secret Service agents would be they had a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
Just wouldn't want to be
you
like.
don't want them always yucking it up.
Yeah, you got to meet these guys. Always pranks. Always pranks.
You have some time off now. Everybody was on strike.
Yep.
And
we were on strike.
you picketed every time you were scheduled to picket.
I did. I picketed every day.
Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
for you.
It was. Thank you very much. It was really my way of saying, which is really important to me, it was my way of saying I have nothing better to do. I have a huge gap in my life where I should be more social.
And now you're off again for a little bit. Now, what do you do now that you don't have to?
Well, I have a goal in these 2 weeks, which is I am not right now. I do not have a driver's license right now.
Oh no, that's
crazy.
No,
right?
that can't be true.
It's
I'm
true
sure.
because.
Have you looked?
I have, trust me. The worst thing about not having a driver's license is I have to carry my passport around as identification, and you realize the only people that do that aren't traveling internationally are like assassins. Like me and Jason Bourne are the people that have.
Passport is
when you
all
take it out at a bar, they're like, look, we don't want trouble. If you got to carry a passport around, we'd rather not have you at our bar.
But now.
Here's what happened.
Yeah, what did happen?
Well, all right, I know I should have gotten a New York driver's license, so I moved here, but I kept my New Hampshire license. And my birthday is right around Christmas. So I'm home, and I would just go to the DMV and get it renewed. So the last time I was there, once again, here's another example of pride cometh thing before the fall, which is I'm filling out the form, and the last question was, are you a resident of New Hampshire? And I was like, well, what if the guy at the DMV recognizes me? I'm a huge star. So if that happened, he would go, look, man, you're a huge New York star. You clearly don't live here. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to get caught in that awkward situation.
Yeah,
so I'll mark no, I'm not a resident.
Yeah.
So I wait in line
Really? You denounced your statehood affiliation?
That's not the bad thing. The bad thing was I denounced it at the DMV. So I wait in line for 2 hours. And I get up and I hand the guy the thing, and he literally, first thing he did is check. He goes, you're not a resident, you can't get a driver's license. And I said, well, why do you even have that question there if you won't give somebody a driver's license? And he said, well, to stop people like you from getting driver's license. I was like, well, you were. Then he was like, say hello to your mother for me.
Yeah, exactly. The French teacher.
I'm Pierre.
You're better off with the passport.
Yeah.
This thing with the vice presidential candidate, how did you come to that? How did it come to you?
Well, as soon as she was chosen, I started getting emails from people and, like cousins I haven't heard from in a long time. Everybody was like, anyone who had my email was like, you look just like that lady and you should play her. And I first saw her and I thought, I don't really look that much like her. We just both wear glasses, both have brown hair. And then my kid saw her on TV on CNN or something. She goes, that's mommy. And I was like, it's not great.
Wow. Hello.
That's not great. My kid is 11, too. It's not great.
Really? 11?
Yeah.
That's odd, yeah.
And then Lauren called up and said, well, people keep saying me, and maybe you should come back. Also, I think people don't realize I don't work there anymore. So people are like, oh, she'll do that. And he said, well, you think about it. I said, I'll think about it. I said, but, I really think I'll come on. I'll do anything but play her. Because I think people who really do impressions, like people like Daryl Hammond and Frank Caliendo, that's an amazing, specific skill that people have, and that's not what I ever did. So I kept calling back to tell them I didn't want to do it, and they did not take my calls. So I would call Lauren's office, and they didn't answer the phone. And then it was like Friday before the first show, and the costume designer for Saturday Night Live called me and said, well, Lauren told me to order the Sarah Palin glasses and put your prescription in them. I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing it.
Yeah. But I mean, and I understand it being concerned about it because if you're not an impressionist, the concern is, well, how close am I going to come? Right. But the truth of it is, it seems like the characterization is uncanny.
Well, thank you. Oh, that's good. I watched her on YouTube and I tried to learn, but I think I got pretty lucky because one, I do sort of look like her. We both have a long nose like a collie.
No.
Which is not, that's a handsome breed. It's a handsome breed. That's what my husband always says, that we both have a long nose like a collie. Yeah. But also she has, I sort of look like her, and she has a really crazy voice. It's not like Daryl Hammond, he can talk like John McCain. That's a really plain voice. Like not since Sling Blade has there been a voice that anybody could do. Anybody can take a swing at this voice, you know.
Yeah. But, and how would you describe it now? I mean, in breaking it.
Beautiful Alaskan wind song.
Uh-huh.
It's beautiful. You know, and like I said, it's not really. I try to like learn from the way I know Daryl learns things, and I sort of try to figure out her. She's got that crazy accent. It's a little bit Fargo. It's a little bit Reese Witherspoon in Election, and it also I tried to base it on my friend Paula's grandma, because her grandma was this sweet old lady from Joliet, Illinois, and she would always say like, "Oh, this and that" and stuff like that. And if you call up looking for Paula, she'd be like, "Oh no, Paula's sleeping. No, I can't wake her. She's sleeping." And I think that might be our next vice president. Oh no.
But it sounded to me a little, and I don't know what the connection would be. It sounds a little like Upper Midwest, kind of Great Lakes region.
Yeah, she's dropping the G's, you know, and she also, I asked Seth Meyers, this is the guy who really writes all those sketches we've been doing, and so I said, can you put a lot of R's in there? Because she gets her R's, or she really loves the, you know, like these terrorists and William Ayers, and she digs into those R's. I think she thinks there's oil in those R's. She is digging deep.
Wow, it's very strong. Did you go to like, I mean, you had a lot of free time. What kind of stuff did you do in your free time while you were trying to be an actress?
Free time?
Did you go to like Disneyland?
I went to Disneyland this summer.
Well, that's what I'm driving at. This summer, you finally
I went this summer for my birthday, and it was fun. I probably should have thought about it a little before, because I don't really like being outside in the sun, and I don't like rides.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
My boyfriend was like, why were you? And I was like, I don't know, I thought maybe we could just like eat and shop around. But because I'm not a rides person.
Right.
I don't like, I'm just never have been a rides person. And so, but he made me go on Space Mountain.
Oh, sure.
Which is, you know, it's an indoor roller coaster, so no sun, so it had that going
exactly.
for it. I just screamed the whole time, but like not like a cool roller coaster scream.
Like what?
Well, my boyfriend told me I sounded like an 1800s woman when we were on the road. It was like, ooh, ooh, like that. And I would like go with the ride, so it was going, I'd go, ooh, ooh, and and I think I screamed, "I'm gonna kill you," which to my,
I'm gonna kill you.
That's nice. Which kids loved. They loved that. Yeah.
So my complaint about Disneyland is, you know, too much Disney, not enough land.
Yeah. Now, where were you when you say you were out of town?
I was actually in Europe or Europa.
What were you doing there?
I was visiting my girlfriend who was working in Italy, in Rome. And then
your girlfriend, by the way, is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
She was on the show not so long ago.
No, I remember. I actually wanted to bring something up.
Olivia Wilde?
Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde.
How did you meet her?
We met at the season finale of Saturday Night Live, not this last year, but the year before.
Well, you're very lucky.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Very much so.
This is very, very romantic. The two of you were in Europe.
You know, when she was on the show here about like a month and a half ago or so, she brought me up, and you said I was kind of dopey. You said like, I think I'm quoting it, like, he's kind of a dope, right?
Yeah, that's probably right. You're probably right about that.
But I mean, that's because I am then, right? Is that official?
Why don't you tell us?
That's a good point. I'm more lucky than dope.
I was referring, I guess, to the character portrayed in motion pictures.
I appreciate it.
I feel sometimes like if you want a good stooge in a movie, you want kind of a dopey, good-looking guy.
Okay.
And then the next guy would be Sam Champion. It would be
there you go.
And then Sam Champion.
Happy to do it.
Right.
Happy to do
wow.
It. Look at that.
Well, I'll tell you what it was. I apologize, but I know exactly what this is. Your girlfriend is so lovely. Fiancée or girlfriend?
Oh, boy, it's just girlfriend.
So
lovely.
lovely.
Unless she's going to surprise me.
That would be great.
Did she do that?
And me being bitter and envious that somebody like you has done so well for yourself.
Okay.
So I attacked I attacked you out of
That's what I
insecurity.
thought it was, but that's why I wanted to talk about
I
it.
wouldn't take it seriously.
Yeah, no, okay, all right.
So what were you guys doing in Europe?
I don't remember, I'm dumb. No. We were...
We mentioned Sunday night is the 40th anniversary of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
You were there 8 years?
8 years, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
so a
crazy.
nice long part of that
Thank you.
history.
Yeah, oh, it's crazy. I can't say what it is, but I just found out what I'm doing in the show on the way over here. They call me and they say, we kind of know what you're doing, but it's a little hectic, so I'll find out.
It'll be very exciting. But
yeah.
that's the nature of doing a live comedy show.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
right last minute, and it is going to be, and a lot of great people are there.
Oh, amazing people.
Have you
It's gonna be
worked with
giant
all
party.
of the people that will be assembled there, you think?
I think so. I hope, yeah, I think most of them. I'm excited to meet, like, writers and stuff, like Jack Handy and people like that who I never got to meet. But, like, yeah, that's the crazy thing about SNL is they would just throw you into a room and with Steve Martin and Lauren would be like, Bill, do you have any ideas? I'm like, well, it's Steve Martin. I don't know what I could say to make Steve Martin any, you know.
Let me hear the Lauren again.
Bill, do you have any ideas?
Bill, do you have any ideas?
Hey, there you go.
Bill, do you have any ideas? Bill, do you have any ideas?
Bill, do you have any ideas?
Bill, do you have any ideas? Bill, Bill, do you have any ideas?
Bill,
Bill.
Yeah.
Any nightmare stories from your experience?
Oh,
there of 8
yeah.
years?
Tons of nightmare stories. Oh, my gosh. I was nervous pretty much. I thought I was going to be fired for the first pretty much 4 years I was on the show. I mean...
Really? The first
really,
4?
4 years. I mean, yeah, I was... My wife... Actually, I was nervous every single show. Yeah, my wife would come down and just calm me down. We would do, like, breathing exercises.
Oh,
She'd
no.
be like, horse breath. Horse breath. And I'm like, all right. Because what happens is we have the dress rehearsal, which is just like the live show. And then we have the dress rehearsal, and then we have a meeting with Lauren, and then there's the air show, and it's really crazy. And sometimes between dress and air, they would change things. They would change your whole character. And a writer sometimes would forget to tell you that they had changed your character. So I remember once I was a guy, I came out and was like, hello, my name is Rex, and I'm from, I was a guy from Texas at dress. And then on air, I was like, hello, my name is Rex, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Yikes.
And you see some writer over in the corner going like, forgot to tell Bill that he's a Boston guy now.
Oh, my God. But the idea of doing it live, does that ever settle down?
No. It was always terrifying. Yeah, and then sometimes you would do a sketch and it would just bomb. I know that me and Will Forte would do these characters named Jerry and Carl. They were these old grizzled businessmen, and no one found it funny except Lauren. Like, no one enjoyed it except Lauren Michaels. And we did a Jerry and Carl sketch with Josh Brolin called Fart Face. It's crazy that thing would ever not make one person.
Fart face, brilliant.
No, don't do that. No one has ever liked Fart Face. No one likes Fart Face. No, so we did Fart Face, and it was Josh Brolin. We were these grizzled, kind of old businessmen, and it was like, Jerry, I think you're kind of a fart face. I was like, well, Carl, I'm not a fart face. Don't appreciate you calling me that. Carl, and it was all very serious.
Very earnest?
Very earnest. And then we'd call Josh Brolin a fart face, and his character starts crying, and then we threaten him and we say, we're going to tell everybody you cried in our office. And that was the end of the sketch. So we did it at dress, and it played to total silence. I mean, we could hear our footfalls on the ground, You could hear my jacket moving around. Like, it was so quiet. We were like, oh, well, that didn't make it. So then we come in to the meeting before air, and not only is it in the show, it got moved up. It's like, it got moved up, and we were like, oh no, now we gotta do it. And I'm looking at Will Forte in the meeting, he's like, we gotta do it now, and Lauren's like, it's funny. And so we have to do it, and we're with Josh Brolin, and we're back there, we're about to do this sketch we know is gonna be totally awful. And Josh Brolin, I remember he looked up at the audience and he went, well, fellas, let's shut these up. And it was... And it was like,
wow.
Yeah. And it was like the end of the Wild Bunch. It was kind of like, all right, guys, here we go. Bombed somehow even worse on air. Even worse. Like, I could look out and see people scowling at us, like, what is this? And that was the episode that Sarah Palin did a cameo in. It was the most watched SNL episode in history.
There you go.
I went up to Sarah Palin after the show. I go, did you like our sketch? And she went, what sketch was that? I go, fart face? And she went, oh, no.
No, I didn't. No. Well, guess
Like,
what?
no
It's
one
going
liked
in the time capsule.
Well, guess what?
But one wonders, another night, another circumstance, would that same material have worked?
I don't think his fart face would have ever worked. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes you get a certain host, like we did one with Alec Baldwin it was Jerry and Carl sketch, but it wasn't fart face. It was us, like, I forget what it was, but Baldwin made it work a little bit.
Well, you know, you got the 40th anniversary special coming up. Try it out there.
Yeah.
Take fart face.
Yeah, I'll
back
take
to the
fart
40th
face.
anniversary.
Warren, I think we got to do fart face again. Let's try it.
Do you have any ideas, Bill? I don't know what I'm doing now.